I'm a music executive and IT specialist. By trade, I'm a business analyst, project manager. I've partnered with Fortune 500 companies, billion-dollar companies in corporate America. Measure your growth.
Either way's the day going. Either way's day going. You got to dream to win. Play for it. Don't give in when. Play for it.
Continuously
Don't quit the dream or you pay for it.
prioritize
Play or you pay for it.
Accomplish it.
Either way's the day going. Play or you pay for it.
Track the
Either
outcome.
way's day going. The winning circle stay prudent. Losers and illusions stay feuding. Forever stay learning like a student. The same rat race got your children. The same blood suckers got you building. Televise the wars and the killings. Evil and they know it. Know they gotta pay for it. Chorus.
Hi, I'm 𝐈𝐞 𝐕𝐢𝐝𝐞. That's my full name. Some people call me Ken. For the sake of ease, feel free to call me Ken 𝐕𝐢𝐝𝐞. I was born in, just a quick background on myself, I was born in Lagos, Nigeria. I'm an Igbo by origin. Not to have this run too long, my background that is, I'll tell you quickly, I grew up in a middle-class family with 3 brothers and 1 sister. I'm a twin. Growing up in a middle-class family, my father worked for Chevron Texaco. He was eventually transferred to the States, where we would visit from time to time on holiday, and eventually move over to the States. Long story short, fast forward, going to school, going to college, I've always had a passion for music, and I've dabbled in the music business for quite a while. I dabbled in the music business, developed several artists, helped several artists gain some footing in the business. I'm a music executive, also an IT specialist. By trade, I'm a business analyst, project manager. I've partnered with some companies in corporate America, some Fortune 500 companies, helped them with some very large scale projects and executed billion-dollar companies. So I would be considered some sort of a specialist in the IT field on the business side. Now, just a quick background. Growing up as a kid, I went to boarding school, and boarding school in Nigeria is a very unique experience. It's there's a hierarchy where you have seniors and, their ranks. And so seniors, essentially, you have to perform tasks for your seniors, like wash their clothes and, fetch their water and, things like that. And sometimes they can extort you, seize your provisions and food and that sort of thing. Going to boarding school was one of the hardest parts of my life as a child, as a youth. I went to boarding school at about 9 years old. So ever since I was 9 years old, I've been out of the house and not necessarily fending for myself. To a certain degree, I developed a sense of independence, right? Being away from your family and, as a child, when you're so young, being away from your father and mother and your parents. And so you sort of develop this independent thing. Fast forward to the States, I was as an international student, my parents couldn't, they tried their very best, but as you can imagine, having 4 children, sometimes it was challenging to pay everyone's school fees and provide pocket money and provisions, things like that. Lucky for me and my twin brother, I had been writing music, lyrics, since I was a kid. I'd taken interest in music, and so I started writing music as a youth. And by the time I was about 17, 18 years old, I had developed stacks and stacks of notebooks with lyrics. So my twin brother and I, we formed some sort of a duo, like a group, right? And we would save our lunch money and bus fare and eat as little as we could in college and save our money to pay for studio time. We would get to the studio and sometimes we felt like we were ripped off, right? So long story short, we decided that we would, instead of saving our money for studio time, we would save our money to build a studio. Started working the studio. We built it up and started recording. Some things were subpar. Eventually, I decided I was majoring in pre-pharmacy. So I was going to school to be a pharmacist and minoring in audio engineering. Anyways, eventually, I decided I would focus on being an artist, right? I experienced a health scare while in college where I had lost my vision, believe it or not, for a certain period of time. And so I decided I would saw the eye doctor and he said, hey, listen, you're stressed out and you need a break. You need to take a break from whatever's stressing you out, which was school. Didn't have a car, so essentially I had to travel quite a long distance to school. Took the break, started focusing on music. I ran into some associates, right? And who also had shared interest in music. And we decided we would get a studio together, right? An office building as opposed to operating in my aunt's spare room where I would have aspiring artists and musicians come and record and all that sort of stuff, which it was rather unsafe to think about it now in retrospect. We would go into this recording studio, and so a lot of the street guys started coming in,